Hi, welcome to the October 2024 monthly energy forecast. Is everybody excited? Put this on here. Very excited about this month's energy forecast. I know that we changed it last month to the first of the month, and there's a lot of excitement going around about this. So I'm a little excited too. I'm going to put maybe some music in the background while we get the energy going and flowing. Awesome. Well, I'm just going to get right to it. Of course, I have a few announcements. As you know me, there's always announcements, always new things coming up. So I had some exciting things to talk to you guys about before we get started with the monthly forecast. If you're here, say hi in the comments. Let me know you're here live. Let me know how you're doing in October. October just really started with a big bang, hasn't it? A lot of energy moving, a lot of intense energy moving. And it seems like everything's being moved around, but things are moving fast, right? So just hold tight. You're on the ride and it may move around a lot. The best thing you can do right now is flow. Because if you try to get too much done in a very structured way, you're going to be bopped around. So the energy is like moving fast and you just have to ride the wave. So that's what's this opening that's happening today is starting off the month very, very fast. So actually, I don't want the background music on. I'm going to turn it off because it's distracting me from what I need to do with all the energy moving forward today. All right, well, let's get into it. And like I said, make sure you say hello. Make sure you let me know if you're liking the energy forecast at the beginning of the month rather than the 15th of the month. We started that in September. If you're new, I'm Marissa Lizapel, intuitive and transformational mentor and coach. So, yeah, every month now, the first of the month, we're going to be going over the monthly energy forecast, the theme of the month energetically, as well as some of the key date highlights that you should be aware of when making your key decisions for the month, whether that's in your life or business, and cosmic events, right? So for the last couple months, we were dealing with the retrogrades and now we're dealing with the eclipse season. So we have to take those into consideration, just like a weather forecast, before we jump into applying for jobs or going for a promotion or getting into a new relationship or making big leaps and bounds in our careers, starting new projects, all that kind of stuff, even taking spiritual steps. So it's important that you watch the forecast every month. Plus, it's entertaining, obviously. Let's get to it. And I'm going to bring up my announcements. So here we are, right? We're finally out of the slowed down energy, like I just said. And it's now time for you to take very intentional action on your goals this month. We have a very small window of time where there's acceleration, but like I said, it's intense for you to take the window of opportunity. You're going to have probably about two or three opportunities presented to you this month in any area of life in your pie chart. And some people think, if the opportunity presented themselves, they would just go for it, whether it's the perfect relationship, job, anything to up level. But sometimes if you have nervous system issues in the past, trauma in the past, self sabotage in the past, that door could be open and the gold could be in front of you, and then you could still take the familiar road. We don't want you to do that, right? So I'm letting you know opportunities are here and it's about stepping into these opportunities this month. So a few months back, we spoke about this time frame coming and how you could take full advantage of it. Now, as you all know, I am on sabbatical from doing the mediumship for a couple of years now. We are on a closed wait list for that. But a few times a year, I do open up 10 intuitive one-to-one strategy calls for those who would like some extra insight with making some of these key decisions. So, because we're not in retrograde, because we are in this forward moving energy, I wanted to, and last time not enough people got to take advantage of that. So people are like, when are you opening up again? When are you opening up? So there are just 10. Once they're gone, they're gone. Just depending on the need for those who want to be able to take that intentional action. This is when I think the extra support would best be served. So this is a time frame. I'm putting it out there. The link will be in the description below. Like I said, once they're gone, they're gone. But I'm offering 10 of them right now, one-to-one strategy calls. You can use the link below to book yours. I won't be offering any one-to-one sessions again until 2025. So if you would like to take a look at your pathway and get clarity on what you want to focus on and how best to move forward in your life, business, and relationships and overall purpose and get my additional assistance, you can go to the link below. All right, so let's get into October. Any cosmic events? Of course there are. The new moon in Libra is going to occur tomorrow on October 2nd, 2024. This new moon marks the beginning of a whole new lunar cycle. And with it being in the sign of Libra, I love my Libras. Yes, love my Libras. If you're out there and you're a Libra, it's going to be an interesting birthday season for some of you because you're used to it being flowing and slow. And this is going to be intense, right? So I would say if you're a Libra, party it up, go all out, go intense, go for the gold, okay, this season. But it focuses heavily on themes. This new moon in Libra focuses heavily on themes related to balance, relationships, and harmony. So relationships, Libra is all about love and relationships, right? And they do want harmony, but sometimes they don't really attract it. Sometimes because they're so back and forth, not really knowing what to choose, what to do, not knowing what decisions to make, they don't attract harmony. So right now, the Libra umbrella overlaying this whole month is all about bringing harmony into your relationships. And I'm going to get to why that's important coming up. That this doesn't always mean love. This could mean your business relationships. This can mean your family partnerships, any relationship you have, really. It's all about seeking reciprocation, balance, and harmony for those relationships. That's going to be the overall theme. So if you had some push pull relationships in the last 3 months, and I'm assuming some of you did, I know that it's been a turbulent time. This month actually asks for harmony. Like, what can we do to harmonize in this relationship? What can I give you? And what can you give me to kind of, we both feel like we're harmonizing in the relationship? I think in the last 3 months, the focus has been more internal on like, what is this person giving me? Not what am I giving to that relationship, right? All right, so let's get to the October theme of the month. And I'm going to pull that up on my screen so that you don't forget about it. Let's look it up. The theme is round and round we go. Now, I'll let you put in the chat. What do you think I'm talking about with round and round we go, right? Think about a merry-go-round. What am I talking about? If you've watched me for a while, you know that I talk about patterns and cycles. I'd like to see if you can guess what this theme could mean. You might already be feeling it now anyway. So let's talk about that. All right. So the theme of October is round and round we go. And the merry-go-round, let me tell you, it's probably getting old for you. So for the last 3 years, the energy, you may have been both consciously and unconsciously aware of some of the cycles and patterns that you've been playing out. Okay. You may have been aware of it. You'd be like, yeah, I'm playing out these cycles and patterns, but I'm functioning. I'm high functioning. I'm producing. I'm taking care of my responsibilities. So when it gets bad enough, I'll take care of it. And you've definitely felt the strength of it, I would say, in the past month and a half. And sometimes having those patterns simmer to the surface got pretty turbulent and uncomfortable. But you were still making it through and still getting most of the things done you needed to get done in those fast paced times. So you're like, well, I have all these other things to do. There's chaos here, putting out a fire here. This whole situation's coming here. I have to take care of everybody else but myself, right? So I'll get to me later, right? So you were able to hold it down even though the spring was bubbling through. So you kept pushing, you kept prodding, you kept charging ahead despite your capacity for such a fast-paced life. And I want to talk about capacity in a minute. You probably had to shut it down a few times until you got your energy back up and going again. So you probably got so exhausted at some point that you just shut the world out and shut it down. But then the slow pace life that you thought you'd be able to create just got tousled up again the minute something came up to disrupt your self-care routine, right? So you promised you'd reprioritize yourself after you got through this or that or the other, but that time didn't ever come. So I'm going to put that out there to you again right now. There's going to be no perfect time for you to prioritize yourself. Actually, this is the best time. October has really it has intensity with the eclipse season and the new moon and all that, but it doesn't have a lot of retrogrades or things that you might be feeling like, oh, they're getting in the way of me thinking clearly. You're going to be thinking real clearly, and you're not going to be able to lie to yourself to say, well, I don't need to fix this, right? So there's not ever going to be a perfect window of opportunity, because what's going to happen is no matter what window of opportunity you have coming up, you're going to keep having things come up in life. And if you have a high tolerance for chaos, which most people do, I show people a funnel in some of my private trainings. It's a funnel. They have a high tolerance for chaos, but a very small tolerance level for joy. And so what I do when I work with people is we flip that funnel upside down. And by the end of us working together, we have a high level of tolerance for joy and like zero tolerance for chaos. So I'll give you a gold medal, right? I'll give you a gold medal for weathering the storms, taking care of everybody, being the strong one in your family, being the one to pick everybody else up, being the one to coach everybody else in your life. But where has that gotten you? If you sit there right now and look at yourself, where has that gotten you up to this point? Did anybody really ever change? Maybe a little bit, but I think it's now time for you, right? So now with the mental energy clearing from the past retrograde, you're getting clear about how you've been overextending yourself and really having nothing to show for it. So I'm going to say that again. You're getting crystal clear that you've been overextending yourself and having nothing to show for it. You wonder if all this pushing and doing and overproducing, is it really worth it? Because you're just tired, right? You're getting tired of the same old games and realize you've been an active participant in your own story for close to 20 years now. So you look at the past 2 decades and you're starting to wake up and finally look in the mirror in that lake, right? We're going to say a lake, mirror, lake, the mirror of the lake that used to be wavy, right? You couldn't really see clearly for a long time. But now that water settled, it's getting clear. And you're taking a look at yourself and you're thinking, when will enough be enough? So, the overarching theme here in October that relates to everything is you've probably been trying to change somebody else in your life for way too long. Okay. I don't care if you just met that person. I don't care if they've been in your life for 60 years. I don't care if they've been in your life for 3 months, but your focus is on them. And the focus has been on others for the past 4 years now, almost always. And if you think about round and round again, this could have manifested in different people, right? The focus has been on others for the past 4 years. So, what can we do in your mind? This is what you might have been thinking over the past 4 years. What can I do to manipulate the game board to have people in my life get the help they need, change their ways, provide a more balanced relationship? Right? Those questions have been going on and on, exhausting, right? So, I want to ask you right now, what is the common denominator here? Is it you in all these relationships? Like they may have come and go, they may be playing out in your romantic life, but you might also find that you're triggered in your business life or in your friendships or when you're going to get a burrito down the road and somebody's in line way too long and you're triggered because you want to rush through and they're taking too long, right? It shows up in a lot of different places. So let's turn these questions that I just asked around, and I'll ask the questions again. We're asking ourselves, if we're focusing on other people, what can we do to manipulate the game board to have people in our lives get the help or change their ways, provide a more balanced relationship? And now we're going to turn the questions around and ask the same thing, but with the word you in them. Okay. So here's how it works. What can you do to get the help you need, change your ways, and provide a more balanced relationship with, guess who? Yourself. You might ask yourself, why are these people not reciprocating? Why is this happening? Blah, blah. But do you have a balanced relationship with yourself? Do you provide yourself with consistent self care or is it inconsistent? Are you one day taking care of yourself and the next day you're all over the place? Well, that inner part of you has no consistency at that point, right? We have no capacity to have consistency with our well being. You might have with your job, but not with yourself. So that's where the starting point is. The key here is that you might think you're more well adjusted than the people you're trying to help. Since maybe you're the one that helps everyone in their crisis, but as a result of getting clear, you find that people are going to do what they want to do anyway and you have no control over them or what they do or what they think at all. But who you do have control over is yourself. So, this is a powerful shift in October that can occur to the whole system, meaning the whole system of your life, your family life, your relationship life, your business life, once you start to turn the spotlight on yourself and make some changes. The problem is you think you might have it more together than these other people, right? But think about it. Internally, if you're anxious and trying to control the situation, you don't really have it together because that internal chaos is still going on while you are high functioning in your life and maybe even making money, right? Maybe even having good at your job. You think, well, I'm functioning there, so I'm high functioning. Not inside. You're not. So let's look at this a little bit deeper. Let's take an extreme example, but maybe more typical than you realize. Maybe you have someone with addiction in your life, right? Maybe you've spent years pleading with them, begging them to stop, or simply moderate, or even threaten them in some way to stop, that you won't be in their life, right? You continue to spin your wheels, and you'll only feel okay if they take the bull by the horns and do something about their issues. Let's say you stop that. Let's say you stop that insanity because you can't control that. Let's say you just let it go, right? You just let that go because they have their own higher being in the universe that's watching over them. They have their own karmic path. They came down here with these challenges to move through them. They've chosen these challenges. So let's say you look in the mirror after all those years trying. Let's say you've been trying to help somebody for 4 years, 10 years, 20 years. Let's say it's a parent. Has your investment paid off? Are you better than when you started? Or have you gotten weathered, worn, and sullen as the result of trying to change or fix this person? Have you lost yourself in the process? If there were money to be made by the changes you were able to force, how much would you have in your pocket? Probably a few pennies, right? If this was a business deal and if this person was your client, would you work with them? Would this be a fruitful venture? Ask yourself these questions. Let's say you took all that time that you were focusing on somebody else, trying to save them, fix them, whatever. Let's say you took this time to focus on your own self care. So let's say you took the time to focus on your self care, prioritize yourself, re engage with your passions, put yourself first, fill up your own gas tank, focus on your own mental, physical, emotional well being for those 4 years. Where would you be now? What would you have to show for it? I bet it would be a lot of gold, right? So the theme of October has a big part to play because there's no more lying to yourself in any way, shape, or form. You've clearly had enough evidence at this point that the madness you're experiencing in these cycles and patterns, you are playing out. You're the key player. Sometimes the person we're looking to fix is just going about their business, happily doing whatever they want to do anyway, and you're sitting there stressing, worried, and resentful that they won't change. You have work to do. And for right now, with the energy being as it is, I don't think that I have to convince you of that. Maybe in the past I used to have to, but you already know it. So you're sitting there, you're shaking your head, maybe on your own by your computer, nodding with everything I'm saying, and you're getting really honest with yourself. Like you have to. You have no choice. Time is moving along, and before long, you're going to be wondering where it went. Wouldn't it be a great idea to finally slow down, savor life, and still be enough to be present? So I think so. So if you're ready for this venture, but you're still finding you're at a crossroads and you want more of my help, you can do one of two things or one of three things. First one is I have those 10 one-to-one sessions available. Won't be available after that until next year. So if you want one of those, grab one of those in the description below. You can also fill out a short form to work with me in my newest program, and you will get access to a free private training on how to go from scattered and surviving to joyful and thriving without that wonderful word guilt in under 30 days. So if you want that free private training, there's a short form below to apply and seeing if that might work for you. So all the links that I mentioned are in the description below. You can apply to have the free private training and work with us in the new program, or you can do the short one-to-one session. Let's look at some of the key highlights and the dates for October. So the solar eclipse right now is heralding harmonious energies and the close of a new cycle of energy, right? One where the close is actually within. So you're going to find yourself clear in your own bubble and will close that energy to the outside world instead of the outside world having a hold of you and tossing you around at every turn. So think of yourself zipping yourself up in a clear plastic pliable snow globe, right? Where you can look out and see the beautiful world and unzip it if you want to go out there. But anytime you go back to your bubble, no outside energies can permeate that. So you're finally safe, right? So we're going to be talking about this a little bit more. But I'm actually thinking about making a snow globe meditation this week and adding it in to our private channel, making sure you're connected and on the private platform. And I'll put that description below as well. If you'd like to get that meditation, you do have to be part of our private channel, but that's free as well. So the eclipse energy is going to herald many new opportunities or doorways, like I talked about before, for you to step into. But that's the hardest part, right? So when things come to us that promise joy and up level fulfillment, there are times we can take a step back and stop ourselves, sabotage ourselves out of it. Have you experienced this before? So it's so important that we get ready to step into these doorways. And it's just not wishful thinking, it's about expanding our inner and outer capacity to accept more than our limited thinking thinks we deserve. We may want these things with all of our heart, but when the moment comes, we must be ready to step in. And that requires increased intuition for self trust and nervous system regulation tools for grounding and balance, and a sense of being back home and connected with ourself and our greater authenticity. Okay. This requires more work than a book or an affirmation or just wishful thinking. So if you'd like help, it's time to consider some mentorship, either with me or somebody else working in the area of expansion and alignment. That's very important. So you can take an action step right now if you wanted to. There's a few links, like I said below, free, paid, everything in between. You can choose which one you want to step into, but there really is no excuse to not do one of them, right? So these powerful energies of choice and decision will be here on October 2nd through October 5th. You are finally making firm decisions for yourself and not being so flip floppy. Isn't that great? So, moving back to October 1st, which is today, it's an extremely powerful energy day as the veil between the heavens and the earth are really extremely thin. And if you're not an intuitive channel or a channel, you will be today. So if you want to receive downloads for yourself and others and actually feel the energy of the other side around you, you can tap into it if you just stay still today. The universe will reveal its magic to you. So try to get ahead of the game and step into some stillness today. You won't regret the magic show. Now, October 1st through October 5th are powerhouse days and they are intense. So there's a lot of intense movement, but you will get a lot done. October 6th and October 7th seem to be more spiritual days, and you will have some openings here and some expansion to see beyond yourself and what really is available to you in this life if you live authentically. The universe has some big surprises for you. Can we say frog symbols and unicorns? I don't know why I put that there, but yeah, maybe some real magical stuff will happen that cannot be explained, and maybe you shouldn't try. October 8th through October 11th, the stretch of balance and harmony. This energy is almost like heaven and music, where if you decide to go with the energy and flow, you can have a magical time. So, manifestations can happen almost instantly if you allow it. And one tip of advice: don't question whatever happens. If you start to analyze or doubt things or start to try to question them, the music will stop. Enjoy this heavenly celestial energies. Now, October 12th, you'll feel like the energy comes to a halt or a complete stop, but it's not really true, just a break on the ride. So hold tight and don't jump into any negativity. October 13th is a day of happiness. I want you to enjoy it. October 14th through October 17th, you've had confirmation, okay, in the beginning of the month. You've had solid intention at the end of last month. You've experienced the magic, and now the universe is asking you to do the work. The whole point of our evolution of spirit is to evolve, and so many want the magic to just happen and for things to just taken away, our pain taken away, our work to be taken away. It doesn't work that way. You'll be a little shy or flip floppy to do what needs to be done, but it is really necessary. Okay, October 19th through October 21st. Best days for paperwork, organizing, and getting financials in order for the new year. It's a good day for shredding old energy, literally in a paper shredder. So stop holding on and let it go. October 22nd through October 25th. It's a little bit of a harder run at the end of the month with the energy of the universe and change happening all around us, especially climate and political. But you may feel unsettled and harsh energy from those around you as they are feeling also the universal energy too. So it's time for the snow globe bubble that we talked about. October 26th and October 27th. Blah days. Nothing happening, feeling a void. Watch the movies, read, relax, go into your fantasy realm or imagination, and just create. October 28th through October 31st. These days feel like sandpaper leading into the Halloween week. Think of traffic and horns and lots of energy. However, you can get a lot done on your own in a practical way, but not creatively from the 28th to the 30th. But on October 31st, which is Halloween, It brings the real energy, and I want you to celebrate it well. You're going to feel the energy of Halloween on this Halloween season. So I just wanted to remind you that is it for October, but it is a very intense month. And if you would like to get some extra additional insight from me, I am doing those 10 one-to-one intuitive sessions. And those will be linked below in the description. Like I said, when they're gone, they're gone. And I'm not doing any until 2025. And also, if you would like to get the private training from Scattered and Surviving to Joyful and Thriving Without the Guilt, you would just need to apply by filling out a short form there. So let it snow in October. All right. Well, I will see you next month. And if you are in our private channel, I will see you probably later today. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you very, very soon.